Welcome, bienvenue, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies from wherever in the world that you are. We are excited to have you here for another informative session of the Global Chamber, specifically the Global Chamber Nairobi. My name is Derek Banga, coming to you from a very sunny Nairobi. It is evening though. And for those of you who might be here for the first time, let me tell you a little bit about the Global Chamber and what we do. So the Global Chamber is a community, I should say a growing community of CEOs, executives based around the world. In over 500 metro regions, we are focused on helping organizations, companies grow and create sustainable business. And we do that through what we call warm connections and virtual events such as this one. And our vision is really to help and to increase and to foster this cross-border trade. And I'm proud, as I said, to be the executive director here in Nairobi. And today we have I think, this is one of the must-have sort of events, webinars, if you will, information sessions about LinkedIn. We're just having this conversation earlier with our guest speaker and with Cesar, and everybody found everybody on LinkedIn. I mean, but if you're not strategically using LinkedIn, if you're not using it to help grow your business, not using it for lead generation, you may be missing out on a huge aspect of your business. And our amazing speaker today, whom I found on LinkedIn, is going to talk to us a little bit about that. I just wanted, because we're a small group, if there are sort of any Global Chamber members on this call, please just feel free to unmute yourself and say hi and tell us where in the world you're from. So Cesar, why don't you just go ahead and just briefly, just give us a quick hello and tell us where you are.
Sure. So I'm Cesar Tabanco. I'm based in Puerto Rico in the Caribbean. I'm the VP of Business Services of the Global Chamber. I've been working with the organization for the last 6 years, helping members connect with opportunities, working on the warm introductions, and helping our executive directors like Derek in Nairobi and others around the world to develop and expand their chapters. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Cesar. I know we have Ruby. She's on the road. She might not be able to talk. So Ruby Golo is the executive director in Ghana. Again, an amazing lady. The Global Chamber, really, I mean, the professionals, the quality of relationships that we have here are great. And so I want to thank Ruby for her support all the way in Ghana. Cherry, do you just want to unmute if you're able to, and just hello?
Hello. Okay.
Oh, there she is. There's Ruby.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ruby Golo. I'm the Executive Director, Global Chamber here based in Accra, Ghana. I also have a private firm called Global Trade Consult. We help companies expand into this market. So if you are interested in knowing more, I will put my details in the chat box and then we can have a chat later. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruby. And actually, I'll encourage everybody, you can put in your LinkedIn details in the chat. Part of having events like this is so that we can connect with each other. We can connect with each other on LinkedIn. We can help each other with our businesses. So please, I would all encourage you to put in your details in the chat in LinkedIn, and we can begin these connections. Robina, I can see you with your hand raised. Did you want to say something quickly before we get started?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much, Derek. And hi to all members. I'm Robina Kenanyunja, Global Advisor, Global Chamber, new on the board from Kampala, Uganda. I'm also hosting a summit in the next 2 weeks at the Trans-Africa Investment Summit where Derek will be representing Global Chamber. I'm very happy to connect with all of you and looking forward to more engagements, I think, after my summit, because I'm extremely very busy. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm just gonna see if I can. That might be David who's unmuted. So if there are any other, I'm trying to look at my screen over here. I can see all the squares. Are there any other Global Chamber members before I go ahead and introduce our speaker for the day?
We have Gifty Akorfa from Ghana.
Hi.
And I see
Hi.
Gifty. Hi. And
Hello.
Sam.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Sam.
Go ahead. Is that Sam?
Yeah, that's Sam. My name
Okay,
is
Sam.
Dr.
Just
Dr. Samuel Nkansa. I a board member, advisory board member of Global Chamber Ghana, and I am a consultant for. I do more in relocation of businesses to Ghana and West Africa, especially in pharmaceuticals. I've run a few consultancy services for 3 different organizations, 1 government project and 2 private projects in Ghana. So that is basically what I do. I'm happy to be part of Global Chamber. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sam. And again, feel free to put your details in there, your businesses, your LinkedIn handle, so that we can all connect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our speaker for the day. This amazing lady, as I said, I met her on LinkedIn, and actually this was during the pandemic, and she was regularly holding webinars and events talking about LinkedIn. That's her specialty. She'll talk a little bit more about that. And really, I think for me, my sort of LinkedIn profile, if you will, how I use LinkedIn, how I'm strategic, how I've used it for lead generation, how I've used it to increase my business, how I've used it even as part of the Global Chamber, has been in a large part due to her and some of the things that she has shared over the years. So Ramona Tufaru, who's in Romania today, is the founder of the LinkedIn Lead Machine. And this is a digital first selling 10-step program. It's revolutionized digital marketing, virtual sales tactics, technology processes, and her clients have increased lead generation rates by over 400% over the years. And, you know, Ramona has this proprietary methodology that she's built called the Invisible Funnel 2.0. I'm sure she'll talk about this, where she teaches her clients these sort of cutting edge technologies to build sales pipelines, increase conversion, and win rates. Ladies and gentlemen, please do me the honor of virtually welcoming our speaker, Ramona Tufaru. Ramona, take it away.
Derek, thank you so much for the presentation, for the invitation, and hello everybody. It's really nice to be here and to connect with you. It's incredible how today we can be in our own houses and connect all over the world, and it's quite exciting. Still after 3-4 years, I mean, I'm still amazed. So when I accepted to be a speaker at this event and I was having conversations with Derek, I also decided to share something of high value. I like to share knowledge, but I also like to share something that you can implement right away. And while doing my research, I realized that I need to speak to 2 audiences. First, CEOs, and then marketing and sales executives. And I want to start by giving you top 10 reasons your team's LinkedIn presence matters. A lot of people, they don't really understand why they should invest in LinkedIn. And I discovered that if I don't have the buy-in from the property of the company, like the board, I don't really perform very well when we execute. So I really want you to understand the power of LinkedIn. So I spend a lot of time, a lot of meetings, talking to CEOs about the value of their executive brand and their personal brands presence on LinkedIn. But it's not just about the CEO. You really need to think about the entire leadership team. It's especially important when you have a strong team or are growing rapidly or are in hiring mode. And there are aspects that you need to consider, and I will give you some of them, 10 particularly. So your LinkedIn profiles provide a kind of a showcase where you can demonstrate how effectively you tell your company's story. You express your vision in a compelling way. You captivate your audience and you invite visitors to be a part of what you're building. So this is like a window where you can showcase all this. Then the second aspect is that 78% of C-level executives say they Google someone before meeting with them. And LinkedIn profiles are typically at or near the top of the search results, and people are likely to click on them. It's normal now. LinkedIn is part of our lives, and we click first on LinkedIn than the website. This means you can use LinkedIn profiles to feed people the story you want them to discover. The third aspect, when you find an empty profile, what you do, you usually go back to LinkedIn, right? So why do you make people that search for you dig through the random results that may surface when you can organize what you want them to find and put it at their fingertips, right? You have another channel that you can use to prospect. And when you have a rich LinkedIn profile, people come to meetings better prepared. They have a deeper appreciation of your expertise and thought leadership. They are better educated about your company and are more ready to trust. And likability and trustability really are the end results of our online presence. And as a result, your meetings are more engaged, more productive, you achieve better results. The fifth aspect that I would like you to consider, and it comes down to fundraising, right? When you are raising a round, your profiles show investors that your team's background makes you uniquely qualified to deliver on your vision. Then people who are a fit for your culture can see themselves in your company story, attracting their interest further. So it's equally important you actually limit the time spent with people who are not a cultural fit. Less time spent in less productive activity, more money saved, right? Let's look also at talent search, talent acquisition. Millennials and younger executives are particularly interested in who is behind a business, and your social media presence influences their decision about taking a job, and they are on LinkedIn and they're looking at what you're doing on LinkedIn. A tech aspect, Microsoft owns LinkedIn and has integrated LinkedIn with Office 365. So actually, when you send an email to someone who uses Outlook 365, your LinkedIn profile is just one click away. So it's very easy to connect further and continue the conversation, right? So you can actually use those, advanced sales tactics, like, for example, a triple thread. You connect them, you contact them via email, and then you can click and connect via LinkedIn. And then you can also maybe access to further details through Sales Navigator, something that I will discuss in more minutes. So there are many features that will help you achieve more results through LinkedIn. And then great leaders lead by example. So it's something that I repeat often and often and often. When you have an excellent profile, you as a leader, your team is more likely to have equally strong profiles. When you are active on LinkedIn, showing thought leadership, engaging with clients, your team is more likely to do the same. And when I talk about a team, let's take the chamber, for example. When one leader One solid leader is there doing the activity and showcasing thought leadership. The others are more likely to participate, right? And the last aspect, the 10th aspect, is that you become more findable. So then partners looking for expertise in a particular area will find you easier. Customers searching for a solution will find you easier. Reporters and producers who need an expert, event planners who need an ideal speaker for their event can all discover you more easily. So I guess the bottom line here is that when you and your team are fully leveraging this amazing platform and your LinkedIn presence, when everyone has a profile that is rich and compelling and curated on message and on brand, your team is positioned and it's perceived as confident, as a trusted professional team and united and moving in the same direction. I assisted companies aligning the entire brand, the entire activity, leveraging the entire group of people working for that company. So it really reflects well on the company. It looks good to customers and attracts the right employees. And the way I see it, 3 years in this pandemic and 11 plus years in business, LinkedIn transformed the way working professionals network. And it became a pillar for sales outreach. So that's the reason why I want to address the second audience here, because you really want to understand LinkedIn as a platform and as a presence is effective for the company. And then it is used as a tool to increase revenue, is a pillar for sales outreach, right? One of the things that we teach is B2B prospecting and lead generation with LinkedIn tactics. The digital first selling program is all about implementing tactics, virtual tactics, and especially LinkedIn tactics in order to reach more customers. And before I get into that, I just want to stop 1 minute and ask if you agree with my 10 points, if you actually see the value of the platform. And it's as simple as a yes or a no in the chat box. At this point, I will stop with Derek toward the end to answer to more specific questions, but I kind of want to guide you through a path of understanding the reason why it is worth investing and listening to more content around it. So it's a yes or no. Do you see the value? Do you agree with my 10 points? Yes or no in the chat box. In the chat box.
Yeah, so hello, Ramona. So we have Ray, I think in South Africa, who says absolutely agree. I'm sold. I agree. Guys, if you do just put a Y or a yes in the chat and let Ramona know that, yeah, you're on point. We agree with what you're saying, that the 10 points that she has just outlined, if you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why
it
yes matters. All right. So I want you to guide you toward understanding the features of LinkedIn, and one of the features that is the most powerful and the ones that I teach to executives, to professionals who are serious about generating a scalable system based on digital sales tactics or LinkedIn itself, is LinkedIn Sales Navigator. And this is an excellent tool. And let me explain you why I tend to explain this specifically in these environments where we are talking about using tools to increase effectiveness in processes, effectiveness in operations around the business in order to grow, in order to scale it up, okay? So LinkedIn Sales Navigator is an excellent tool. Why? It makes it easier to locate, to connect, and keep in touch with prospects and referrals and customers. While on the LinkedIn the public LinkedIn, let's say, that you can join for free. You can do searches, but are limited searches. You can create content and share content, but not all the content that you would like specific technical details about your services or your intellectual property or specific business cases. You can do all this on LinkedIn. You can access to specific data that you will not find in other places. You can share content that you will not share publicly. You can obtain quick summaries rather than spending hours completing manually, tracking prospects' behavior on the site or in Excel. And this implies more time for high-value tasks such as phoning individuals and having meetings, right? Because we want to speed up all that part related with the search and the prospecting, and we end up phoning and having meetings with high quality leads. All right. So I have a message for the modern leader, which is more like a question. And I just want you to stop 1 second and think about this and think seriously. What keeps you up at night? Just think of it in regards to your business, your operations, your people, your day-to-day activities. What keeps you up at night? And I don't want you to answer to me, but be very conscious and answer to yourself. The reason why I ask this is because I ask this question of sales leaders frequently. And the answers really tend to revolve around 4 professional challenges. And I want to share this with you, all right? And then I want to back it up with why LinkedIn is effective to help you with these 4 challenges. So first, driving more revenue. This is the first challenge. Second, shortening deal cycles. Third, generating more leads. Fourth, carving out a larger market share. So these are very, very common. And everyone wants to conquer these objectives. We were sharing with Derek, okay, we all want to do more business. We all want to generate more deals, more leads, right? And many come up short. And the underlying reasons generally tied to just one thing. The business environment has changed. It's undeniable, right? And continues to change, making those conventional sales tactics far less effective than they once were. I remember a couple of months ago, I delivered a webinar, a really funny webinar, and I also wrote an article on the traditional marketing is dead, right? The funnel, the digital tactics as we know them, and they were effective in the past, but they are dead now. Okay, so there's a challenge in the business environment. And as the B2B marketplace shifts more and more to this digital aspect, gaining a lot of complexity, the strategies for growing the pipeline and closing deals need to shift along with it. Those who are reactive rather than proactive are falling behind the curve. And all it takes today is one bad move, one unprepared cold call, one meeting without the right people involved to damage a relationship and leave a negative impressions with long-term repercussions, right? And what I want to do in this part of the presentation is to examine these 4 problems and have a conversation with you, and then provide data-driven strategies for overcoming these problems. And the end result, you will have a healthier pipeline, higher win rates, more revenue, and of course, a better night's sleep. And this is my biggest promise to my clients, right? So here's the thing. Here's what I discovered. Account executives are overwhelmed. They have a lot on their plates. Those who are in charge to pitch, to research and prospect and pitch those companies are really in troubles today. There are so many priorities to juggle, people to manage, and most pressingly, results to be accountable for. So when it comes to that last one, we found out that there are 4 problems that consistently arise. And I want to discuss this with you just to make you conscious. And then I want you to lean into why LinkedIn can help you by solving these problems. So problem number one is missing critical players. When you don't have a tool like LinkedIn and LinkedIn Sales Navigator to search those accounts, you are missing on critical players. You're reaching people, right? You can do it via a list that you buy. You can do it via cold calling. You can do it by researching their website and gathering data like that, or by having a traditional lead magnet and making people buy into your list. But are you reaching the right people? Stats are showing that you are not reaching the right people at the moment. The latest research tells us that an average of 6.8 people are now involved in B2B purchase decisions, with some holding considerably more influence. So when your reps aren't connecting with these critical players in the deal cycle, they are putting themselves at risk, and they are putting the deal at risk, and not just the risk of losing the deal, but seeing all the time and the energy invested in this point go to waste. And it can be demoralizing. When we prospect by accounts, we prospect by buying committees. So the problem is twofold. Firstly, it's really hard to find all these people. And secondly, the decision makers typically change roles at a rate of 20% per year. So this means that even if you found the right people at the beginning of the sales cycle, several will rotate out before the deal is signed. And when they leave, unfamiliar newcomers enter the picture, possibly derailing the momentum, and you have to start all over again. You are stuck many times. Problem number two is lacking credibility. Buyers now expect highly personalized experiences tailored to their specific needs. So I am asked very often why my first line in my headline in LinkedIn is a hyper-personalization outreach, because you want to guarantee that you create a hyper-personalized experience tailored for the buyer's needs. They want to be approached with relevant offers at the right moments. Conventional and those ill-timed generic sales tactics don't hold up. And I bet you guys receive a lot of messages that are irrelevant to you. They have no criteria. It's obvious that who sent them did not research anything about you or your company, and they are just generic, and they do nothing else than frustrate you, and you just delete or block that person or immediately lose consideration of that person just because of that, right? So those generic approaches are actually hurting companies. Increasingly, increasingly becoming those sources of frustration. As I said, low sales productivity and sales growth comes out of that. So more and more buyers turn off at the first hint that they are being approached generically. And that's also the reason why the majority of emails are not opened right now. And the majority of the phone conversations are dead in the first 3 seconds, all right? Or there's another fact. What impacts also an approach is the sign, the received sign that a sales rep doesn't really care or understand the business. All right, so you didn't gather enough data to personalize that conversation and that approach. And as soon as a sales rep stop adding value, they are liable to drop the conversation and go dark. So it's completely disappear. And so it's no wonder that almost 77% of buyers don't believe that sales reps really understand their business well enough. And when your reps make a bad impression, it not only impacts the deal that you are trying to close, but it affects future business with that same company. And imagine, as we have that higher rate, imagine what happens when that person leaves the role or the company, and takes that poor opinion with them elsewhere. All right. So it's not only an impact on the current deal, but it's an impact for the long run. The problem number 3 is losing touch with prospects. This is what happens through email or through phone. We don't really understand today that we need a lot of follow-ups. So if we are not strategic, we don't have tools to organize, we don't have other channels to approach our prospects, we lose them very easily. The reason deals go dark often stems to the first it happens at the very first interaction. So when your reps enter into an account through a weak connection, and this is to you, it can relate to you as well, because you are the first sales rep of your company, of your services, right? And so when you enter into an interaction with a company or with a prospect with a weak connection, and what's considered a weak connection today, it's an email or a phone call, like it's a cold outreach, that sets up future issues. All right. And if your sales rep or you can't keep up with your customers and keep them engaged through the deal cycle, you actually lose the valuable interaction, and the chances are that the deal go dark, and you also lose the leverage that you've created with that company. So the key is to stay engaged throughout the sales cycle and really provide value in every stage. The problem is that many reps haven't been properly trained on how to do so consistently. And also a lot of people on LinkedIn don't really know how to do that consistently and how to do that through the main public profile, which is LinkedIn itself, and then Sales Navigator that offers us a lot of other features in order to send content, in order to interact with our prospects and keep them warm throughout the funnel, throughout the different touch points, okay? And the fourth problem that we face, and this is the hardest to work with, all right, is not moving fast enough. Your reps know they should be doing the research, and you should be doing the research to learn about your buyers, what they care about, the best path in the company and the buying committee. But this work takes time, all right? And it's almost impossible for you or your reps to perform well throughout the entire research of the company or the buying committee. This dynamic requires that sales leaders train reps, or you receive training on how to use researching tools to quickly tell the difference between a highly likelihood deal or the ones that you should disqualify immediately. Unfortunately, what we observe is that if you or your sales reps can't do this quickly, you'll continue to lose deals. Almost 50% of deals are lost when you are not the first vendor in, when you are not quick into answering. What we experience today is, and I'm sure that you guys observe that, you sometimes go on websites where you are approached by a chatbot. And so you have conversations with an AI in real time. And so when our sales reps are not that competitive, we lose possibility to close that deal. So therefore, solving the first three problems, we discussed it, isn't really enough. You've got to account for key players, establish credibility, deliver value efficiently to be ahead of the other competitors sniffing around the same deals. They say speed kills and works both ways. So why Sales Navigator and why LinkedIn, all right? And I promise you guys, I stop and answer all these questions. Just keep a note on the side for the questions. Sales Navigator is an incredible tool. And I want to give you a few numbers, because when I give these numbers, I feel like I impress people. All right. When reps use Sales Navigator, they see a 35% larger deal size, and the top quartile sees up to 55% larger deal size. So imagine that for your business. Then when sales reps use Sales Navigator, they see 5% higher win rates, and the top quartile sees up to 15% higher win rates. All right. So LinkedIn, activity, and optimization combined with Sales Navigator activity really increases a lot your deal size and your win rates, the rate around your winned deals. So Sales Navigator, in my opinion, is a key to leverage the advantages of LinkedIn. The future is very powerful. And in my opinion, each sales pro should use it. All right. So not only LinkedIn becomes very, very important. And I want you to understand this, guys. These are two different aspects. The LinkedIn profile, the public one, and then you have Sales Navigator, which is a paid feature, but it is that level of professionalism that you want to have, especially if you are working with accounts that are very difficult to break, that are very difficult to get in. Okay. So LinkedIn Sales Navigator, LinkedIn in general, does support your activity through 3 forms of value that have an instant impact on your performance: the targeting, the understanding, and the engaging. And I want to share this because I think it's important for you to understand also the digital flow on how an approach should work. Okay. The targeting part is where you start to deliver the personalized sales experience. Your personalization starts with the targeting buyers who want to talk to you, that are ready to buy. Sales Navigator tools enables you or your sales team to search and filter millions of members' profiles in a matter of seconds, and ensures that your teams or you, in this case, receive automated lead recommendations corresponding with important signals of buying intent. So when we teach Sales Navigator, lead generation, LinkedIn optimization, we also help companies, teams, you in this case, to understand what are the buying intents. How do you really understand in a digital environment an interest for your services, an interest for your brand, all right? The second step is understanding. A truly personalized sales experience involves more than sparkling your approach with a few personal details. We usually use the name in the email, and that's pretty much all, right? So sales teams need to be equipped to offer meaningful advice to buyers and influence before they start to engage. And LinkedIn provides the understanding that such an approach requires access to real-time feed. All the content that you see, it's data that you can analyze. And then updates that those buyers send out, like job changes. You know, when you receive the update that is a celebration about an achievement, or that is 3 years that this guy is in this role, all these details are you can leverage them in order to start conversation, in order to become more relevant to that person. So mapping buyers' connections also help you to identify the colleagues who've worked with them in the past. So you can approach the buying committee through referrals. A lot of people don't do that. So you can gather all these insights. So you actually, when you connect with the buying committee, you have a map to connect and you become relevant for them even before you approach them in a more salesy, pushy way, right? And then it's engaging, something that you can't do with traditional ways because they are almost dead. We have a 92% decrease in the email opening rates, right? So to earn the engagement of today's buyers, you must build rapport very quickly. To maintain that engagement, you must provide sustained value. You must anticipate the buyer's needs. You need to keep delivering against your buyer needs. So the insights available through LinkedIn and LinkedIn Sales Navigator will enable you to share interests and experiences. And then will enable you to personalize emails or messages or content that can create that instant connection. And warm introductions from relevant colleagues work very, very well and can help you build credibility very quickly. And providing a tailored sequence of relevant, timely content helps to move the purchase decision throughout the funnel while maintaining a contact to the buying committee. So I go crazy when I see that a company engages their sales reps. They build this incredible visibility and position on LinkedIn, but they don't create content that is demand generation content, lead conversion content that sustain the buying journey, right? So what I will do at this point, and then I stop for some questions, all right? Because I'm delivering in-depth knowledge here, and I just want to have a conversation with you. So at this point, what I want to give you is the final touch. I want to give you some bullet points to lay out a straightforward blueprint, a step-by-step process to help you or your accounts to foster a culture of consistent wins and strong relationship. All right, and we will do this on 3 steps. And don't worry, guys, because I will connect with you, or I will put this on LinkedIn. If you connect with me, I will share this presentation with all these aspects, and especially with the step-by-step process on my LinkedIn profile, or I will give access to Derek if he wants to send follow-up. Or I believe it's important for you to receive both the first part of the presentation, but also this actionable step-by-step plan for you. So I said 3 levels. We act on 3 levels when we want to build a scalable system that is sustainable. Target the right buying committee, understand your prospects and their business, and then engage through the deal cycle. And I want to give you some bullet points. When you target the right buying committee, okay, so use LinkedIn Advanced Search to identify the right decision makers. If you are not on Sales Navigator, use LinkedIn Free in order to map out those influencers inside the company, those who actually decide on the purchase of your solution. Then map out the buying committee to determine where efforts should be concentrated and where the critical players fit in, and then connect with your coworkers to expand your network. So you can actually leverage the people inside your company or your organizations in order to expand your network and reach more easily to those buying committees. And then you have to understand your prospects and their business. You have to evaluate the prospect's LinkedIn profile to learn about their pain points, their needs, the things that they care about, the things that they share, and make a short list of ice-breaking data, ice-breaking information. View their recent activity to monitor their activity, including content shared and comments left. Look for commonalities between you and the prospects, something that you share, maybe the school, maybe the geographical areas, maybe a passion, maybe an achievement, or maybe you can subscribe to their blog post. You can read their news, or maybe they have an internal magazine. Discover as many details as you can about your prospects, and follow your prospects and follow their company page, because you will receive a lot of updates about the news that they share, the activity, and keep up with the trigger events. A lot of my clients, they actually ask me to explain this because I have an approach to lead generation and prospecting that is very technical. So what are trigger events? Opportunities to engage with prospects, including those that I listed before, right? The job searches, the changes, the news mentions, connecting with someone in their network, and more of these, but also those that you can establish in LinkedIn if they view your profile. So if you're prospecting someone, you send them a message, they don't respond, but they come to visit your profile, that's a trigger event. You can follow up with the second message and win your conversation through an effective follow-up, all right? And then the last one is engage through the deer cycle, and these are the bullet points that I want you to follow. First, engage with insight. Track metrics continuously, become obsessed about metrics to pinpoint fruitful interactions and identify the disconnectors. Sometimes maybe you have a script that doesn't work. Maybe you send out some details or a call to action too early in the sales process, right? Stay active on social. Share content relevant to your niche, stay in front of your prospect by commenting and liking their post. This is when I explain, actually, this is something that I want to share, Derek. So in the chapter 7 of my book, I explained these two details about how to use the ACCC formula in order to engage meaningfully with those members on LinkedIn, and how to then include the ACC formula into the buying journey, right? I want you guys to engage with the people on LinkedIn before connecting with them. You will have a higher connection acceptance rate, okay? So engage, stay in front of them by commenting, by liking posts, and then leverage your network to seek out to new connections, add substance to existing ones. You can leverage people that you know in your network and ask them to make an introduction, and reach out with the right content and the right context, making yourself a true asset by offering helpful material when prospects can use it. All right. So why am I explaining all this? And I'm gonna lean very easily into the Q&A, because you actually have to think of LinkedIn and the part of prospecting and lead generation as an invisible funnel, as activity being part of a channel where you have access to massive data, where you can pre-qualify the leads, where you can actually engage meaningfully with your customers and lose less times and save more money, or increase the size of your deals and so achieve better revenue goals, right? And I know I delivered a lot of content right now, and I kind of went from why you should consider LinkedIn as an important tool and the problem that it actually solved. It tackled these 4 problems, and I gave you a step-by-step process. And I want to stop now and ask if you have questions and if you want to interact with me a little bit on this aspect. And I also want to, Derek, please allow me to share these 3 links, because I am aware that it might be that there's more details that they want. So I just prepared 3 links that I can share with you, where you can get the book I'm talking about. Connect, please, with me on LinkedIn. And also you have access to a free 30 minutes demo to discuss B2B prospecting and lead generation, because I know I can talk a lot during these conversations, but it's not in-depth analysis of your own case, right, during this event. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up, and
Ramona,
I'm gonna allow you to ask questions.
All right, fantastic. We see the links that you have shared, Ramona. That was a lot of information that you shared within a short amount of time, and there were so many nuggets, I think, that we all gleaned. There are a couple of questions in the chat, but rather than read them out, I'm going to ask the people who had those questions, or indeed, if you do have any other questions, if you could unmute yourselves. We're a small, intimate group today, and feel free to unmute and ask Ramona your question. Robin, I saw I think you had the first question in the chat, and then we'll go to Daniel in Uzbekistan. Robin, are you there? Miss Robina, I can't.
Oh,
I'm not
oh,
sure.
oh,
There she
yes.
is. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, go
yes,
for it.
I'm there. Yes, I put my question actually in the chat. Thank you for the good insights and, presentation. Mine was kind of a summary, like how do I really attract, what do I need to do to get to the right people interested or likely to be my clients for my business? It's a very big challenge. So what are those key highlights that one needs to do to ensure that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to give you a very easy step-by-step, especially if you are prospecting someone very specific. So if you are already clear on who you are prospecting and you have identified the characteristic of this person, first thing first, you need to optimize your profile. You need to build your LinkedIn profile based on that person, the keywords this person uses, the call to action that this person will find relevant, the images and the entry to funnels like an ebook or a webinar that this specific person will find relevant. Once you optimized your profile, you need to be very conscious with your content. So what are the pain points? What are the things that this person finds relevant? And you create content around that. That means you create articles, you can create carousels, visual graphics, simple text, but you have to be consistent. You have to pop up in the front of this person recurrent. So they will see your content, they will come to visit your profile. This is the very natural behavior of every LinkedIn user. And then when you have those two things in place, you need to start to reach out. And I go crazy when people think that reaching out means to press the button and send the message. It's not. What means to reach out today on digital channels, especially on LinkedIn, means select a quantity of people in a specific category. Let's say that you work with consultants. You provide consultancy to consulting firms, okay? So you select the companies and you select the people inside the companies, and then you start to research them and to interact with them. How? Through comments, through likes, supporting their activity on LinkedIn, researching their website, researching their activities on the back, like if they have achievement, if they have news. Then you connect and then you share something about you. When someone accepts a LinkedIn connection and you receive that notification that they accepted, please welcome them to your network. Send them a message and tell them, thank you very much for accepting my connection request. I am XYZ consultant, a lawyer, and this is what I discuss on LinkedIn. This is what I do on LinkedIn. And if you feel like you have an interest, reach out. Don't invite someone to a conversation too early in the process, and then take it from there. Like, start to ask some questions about them. It's making it about them. The great salesperson is someone that asks insightful questions. So you start to ask questions, and once you have them hooked with your meaningful conversation, with your interest and care, then you can propose a discovery call. That's how you do it on LinkedIn. But you have to be conscious that you first need a great profile, because that's your business card on LinkedIn. And you absolutely need to have great quality content that is relevant to them, not to you. Makes sense? I answered your question, Robina?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You
I
are
will
welcome.
follow.
Okay.
Yes.
I can see
That's great.
Doug. I can see Doug. Thank you so much. I can see Doug doing his shopping at one of the malls in America. Is that Doug? Yeah. Doug, can you speak, or should I read your question out? Maybe he can't talk.
Hey, Derek, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing, Doug?
I'm doing well. I'd like to second the last comment that was made regarding the connection point. I think the most valuable thing there in terms of connecting is less about what you do, and to your point, what is it about them? And I would take it one step further by going through their LinkedIn profile and finding connections or some point. It's very flattering that they've actually read your profile, made a comment about it, maybe like where you went to school or where you were from originally, or some sort of a connection there. It just warms it up so much. I think over 90% of the people using these systems don't know how to do that, are spammy and cold and just kind of throwing stuff out there, and it becomes really essential. And what they miss is that connection point, and that you've actually read their LinkedIn profile and understand why there might be a connection. So thank you for the conversation today. I'm passing through the Los Angeles airport onto the Port of LA event that we're doing a global chamber today, and going to do a boat tour of the port, and just wanted to say hi and appreciate Derek, you putting this together. And also the speaker today, you've been really interesting. Ramona, thank you for sharing today. I was able to catch some of you while I was on the plane. Thank you.
Cheers, Doug. Thank you for that. Thank you, and safe travels. And just to add on a little bit to what Doug has said, really important points. It's the cringeworthiness. So there's the spamminess, the posts that you read, or the messages that you read that really make you feel uncomfortable and don't lead you to connect. And Ramona, you and I, of course, were members of this engagement circle together. I don't know if you're going to talk about that, but the fact that you're putting stuff out there that people find relevant. It's about the old FM station that we all listen to, WIIFM. What's in it for me? Now, what's in it for you? And me, of course, is that other person. Yeah, go for it, Ramona.
Yeah, I think it's one point that a lot of people is missing out. So first of all, exactly what Doug said, you have to be meaningful in this connection. It's not about you, it's about them. And having access to all these data, you miss out on an important opportunity to really make it about it, to make them feel like you care, like you know about them, you know about their business, because you have enough data. So it's laziness, it's procrastination, it's not knowing how to do it, it's really missing on a system, and you have access to a lot of knowledge on how to build up this system. So it's not anymore about you, it's about them. And then the content, why? Because you have to educate your prospects. They are already educated. When they are in the mood of buying something, they go online and they search and educate themselves before coming to you. They know already. So your content, when it's irrelevant, when it's too easy, when it's not connected with the buying journey, like there are pain points, there are true desires, there are emotional buying, again, you are losing connection with them, because they know already about the solution. What you need to build up with them is why your solution is more relevant to them than other solutions, because they have already a comparison. They did already the search. They have various solutions. So if you are not on point with your content, you miss up on educating them on why your solution is better than other solutions present on the market. All right. And if you don't have an insight on your buyer or the business, you will not be able to create this content. And we have content that needs to be created at different levels of the funnel. We have the top of the funnel. Of course, you can create ebooks and articles, and you can create visuals on LinkedIn and carousel and keep it a little bit more light. But when you want to convert and create a lead generation with quality leads, conversation ready leads, you need to start to put out business cases, more in-depth ebooks and articles, really tackling those pain points and those solutions that are highly tailored, highly personalized for your buyer. And then, of course, at the last level of the funnel, there should be demos like live demos or webinars like this, going in depth into a detail where you can spend time. Time is the highest value right now. If you can bring someone to spend time with you in a demo or an event, you can strengthen that relationship. But first, you have to be relevant on LinkedIn, and your content needs to solve an issue or emotionally support their goals. Make sense?
Yeah. Ramona, we're, I think, 5 minutes past the hour. I want to bring this conversation to an end because I know obviously people have a lot on their plate. So I'm just going to ask if there's maybe one more burning question. I know Daniel has said he has to jump off, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to sort of give that offer that you talked about initially, and then we can all connect. I have saved the chat as well. And obviously this is going to be recorded. We'll be sharing that recording soon to everybody who registered for this particular event. So just if there's maybe one more question or comment. Ray, I saw you turned on your camera. I didn't know if that meant that you were getting ready to ask a question. No pressure.
Just a thought, something, and please forgive me if this has been mentioned. I had to just step away for a second there during the meeting. This has been very informative, and it's my first visit to the chamber. I met with Doug last week, and he invited me. So thanks for having me. Something else that I find very helpful when it comes to cultivating a good LinkedIn profile is getting recommendations. When you do shopping online, what's the first thing you do? You go and have a look at the ratings. How many ratings and what are the average star ratings? And I never knew that you could actually get recommendations on LinkedIn. And I have had so many people come back going, you don't need to tell me about you. I've read the recommendations and I know that I want to deal with you. So that's more a comment than a question. I don't know if that was touched on.
It wasn't in this specific speech, because we were tackling more the importance of LinkedIn. And when you talk about the importance of LinkedIn, it all starts with your profile. And actually you're right. And what LinkedIn did, because they understood the power of this specific aspect, they added another part where you can gather reviews, especially on your services, right? And so you have the recommendations that you can collect toward the end of the profile when you ask for a recommendation directly. But you can also create, when you are in creative mode, you can create a business page, a business services, and they can review specific services. And this is placed at the top of your profile. So they see your cover, your picture, your headline, your link to your website, and then the reviews of your services, not only of you as a person. And this is quite effective. It is very, very strong. Well done to LinkedIn for that. And well done for you to, because you understood this powerful aspect of LinkedIn. And LinkedIn profile optimization is really the first step that I take with all my clients, no matter if they are solopreneurs or if they have a company and I'm leading the sales team toward LinkedIn lead generation. Derek, I feel like I shared already the links. Sorry.
Oh, you did? Okay,
no,
fantastic.
I just wanted to say thanks so much. I didn't know about the what you're talking about now, the reviews. I'm definitely going to have a look at that, and the business part, I didn't know about that, so I'm definitely going to have a look at that. Thanks for that.
That's great. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. So Ramona has shared, and I'm just going to copy paste it again if I can. Let's see if I can get it. Shared in a couple of links that you can use. I'm going to put them in. You can book a demo with her, connect with her on LinkedIn. And I can honestly tell you that, this can really revolutionize the way that you do business. I now spend a good amount of time on LinkedIn. It is absolutely worth my while. The cold calling, like you said, Ramona, some of these emails, the newsletters, they don't get as much traction. So, yeah.
Indeed.
Okay. So, Ramona, final thoughts. I'm going to wrap this up. We've had some people drop off. They had to go into someone else. I'm just going to leave you to share your last thoughts, and then we can wrap this conversation up.
Well, yeah, my last thought is, why not? This is such a powerful tool. it's everybody's talking about it. It's demonstrated that it provides amazing results when you have a system and when you know how to use it. And having a system and knowing how to use it is accessible through education out there. It's not only done by me, but a lot of people are providing education around LinkedIn. This is the place to be today, so just go for it.
Fantastic. Well said, Ramona. Thank you so much. Such an engaging, such a rich and informative talk. I'm sure everybody has benefited and will certainly, hopefully, get in touch with each other, get in touch with you, connect with you on LinkedIn, and hopefully this will lead to further engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another Global Chamber event, of which there are many. As I said before, the Global Chamber is about connecting all of us wonderful professionals, individuals, and business people around the world, so that we, through warm introductions and events like these, we can really increase this global trade that we have and how we can do business better with each other. Robina, I know you've pushed your event. I'm sure we'll get a chance to attend it. And so at this point, I am going to bring this meeting to a close. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
All for attending. Ramona, thank you for your wonderful presentation. And let's meet again very soon at another Global Chamber meeting. Have a
Thank you
wonderful
all for being
day,
here.
afternoon, or evening, everybody. Thanks and be safe. God bless. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.